What's up, guys? I woke up today with a mission on my mind. I was determined to explore sectors of reality that are typically locked to someone like me. I wanted to know what it feels like to be an African woman. Now, if you know me, then you know I love African women, especially queens. I wanted to not only be an African woman, but I wanted to dominate the world as one too. Just so happens my favorite game, Civilization 6, just released one of the best queens of all time, Nzinga. You know, she was famous for liberating her people from the Europeans, uniting various tribes around her into one, kind of like the US but earlier. Her legacy included a plethora of badassery, including using her male servants as seats. Fuck you, man! And keeping a harem of 50 to 60 young males dressed as women. And she would have them fight to the death in order to sex her. Very similar to my life right now. And so, my quest began. But to truly embody a dominant African woman, first, I needed to know how to be loved. And a lot of research was necessary. Luckily, Vickie Remoe broke it down for me. You know, as an African woman, I'm gonna be a rich bitch. Woo! Okay, welcome to the gameplay. As you can see, we have all the white men lined up and a couple allies thrown in there just in case. Yeah, so we're gonna be playing on the world here. For anyone familiar with Civilization, there's a little true start, so everyone's really spawning where they're gonna spawn, and here we go. So this is our capital city where all the magic's gonna happen. So as we explore through the jungle, we have to remember the wise words of Vickie Remoe. If you want peace in your life and you want to live a long life, then you must know how to love an African woman. Oh, why, hello, Sultan Saladin. Would you like to know how to love an African woman? What's that? You wouldn't? Well, then you leave me no choice. I must be toxic. Oh, you're gonna regret this choice. I'm gonna build up such a large army and I'm gonna have your head on a spike. Oh, Mansamusa. Well, hello, Daddy. Oh, you know how to treat a woman. Oh, if it's not the colonizer himself, I'm gonna turn the Portuguese into the Portuguese by the time I'm done with you. Your kingdom will be mine. Rule number 1. Whoever you love most is the one you will let control you, so she must know you love her above all else. Whoa, did you just interrupt me to talk to me about God? Just make sure you love me more than God, okay? All this attention is making me feel very loved. Ooh, Petruchio Romano, the finest salted sheep's milk cheese I've ever had. Why, thank you. You know how to treat a woman. Oh wow, cloths, tea, and 100 porters carrying sacks of gold dust for me? Almost makes me forget about this god woman. What are you laughing at? Okay, fun toxic activities number 1, hang right outside of their house. Oh wow, that looks mad pretty. Oh hey, you caught me. Yeah, just admiring the beauty. Definitely not trying to invade you or anything. Okay guys, I was definitely trying to invade him, but let me give you one of the best tactics if you're ever caught in someone's property without their permission. Just self-defense. Kill him. Haha, Saladin. What do you mean, what am I doing in your living room? What are you doing in your living room? Why are you looking at me like that? Can you hold on to this bullet for me in your warm body?
Tango down.
Oh, we just met Gandhi. I'm sure he loves killing Arabs. Oh, I guess he doesn't. I just obliterated an entire race of people, and this dude is like, there's some sweetness to the sadness. Okay, rule number 2. All your money doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me. Yeah, so I need like $900,000 to buy the new Balenciaga child porn 4s. What? You're not gonna give it to me? What do you mean? Oh, that makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that I just want to capture Jerusalem and bomb Iraq. Maybe support the Armenian genocide. What do you mean live in peace? I'm trying to live where you live because it belongs to me. Oh my god, just stop resisting. Gandhi, I'm gonna fix the Middle East. Can you relax? You're making this so difficult for me. Don't you understand I'm doing important things like building the Temple of Artemis? I'm gonna terraform the Middle East into a Balenciaga store. I guess you must be a Gucci guy because you don't like my plans. Oh, none of you like my plans. Well, I don't care if you like my plan because rule number 3, don't like other women's pictures on Facebook. That includes cows, Gandhi. See, I got a third eye that sees all the women you plan to enter. And it also sees that you'll never enter my Balenciaga store either. Whoa, what's this? A World Congress? What? They want to take back my Balenciaga? They've all come together behind my back. I'm sure it won't pass, because rule number 4, treating her in public's the most important way to show the love is real. Gandhi and the Russians just teamed up to show me that the love isn't real. But that's because they're jealous of my sweet, sweet Balenciagas. But that's fine, because I'm gonna introduce the Russian people to being my slaves. It is the medieval era after all. And Gandhi, I'm gonna turn your people into the greatest tech supporters of all time. But before I could do that, I had to eliminate all the Russians rushing and all the Indians trying to fuck my cows. And only then could I start teaching the Russians how to farm crops for no pay. Are you mansplaining me, white Australian man?
Productivity, loss of our very humanity.
Anyways, the Russians tried to sue us for the city back, but the Romans thought I'd run it better, so it got denied. Indians can't keep their dicks out my cows. They must have just learned animal husbandry. Oh, Russians, cool capital. Mind if I turn it into a industrial snack shack? Oh, why thank you. Well, the Romans decided to sell Russia's blood as merch, so you know I had to cop me some drip. I continued franchising the Russian Empire, opening up store location after store location. But that's when I realized, rule number 6, love is food and food is love. If you love her, eat her food and tell her how sweet it is. And that's when I knew I had to make it official. I adopted the Merchant Republic, a new form of government, where I could ensure that my franchise succeeds by adopting policies like colonial offices. Business was booming. Through a combination of Forex and my new offices, I was finally able to be financially independent. Unfortunately, this drove my white counterparts crazy with envy. They were just jealous they didn't turn Russia into a giant snack shack before me. The year was 325 AD, when Russia and India officially failed to take back Balenciaga. Because of this great business feat, I decided to promote all of my soldiers. I mean business executives. The plan for the quarter was to transform all these useless houses into farms to produce more food, so I can make more money. But then, the Russians finally had a sensible idea. They wanted to give me money in exchange for running one measly shop out of the greater Snack Shack franchise, and I couldn't refuse. After all, rule number 5 is to ask her a bunch of questions to show her you love her. Clearly Peter loved me, and I think he was even trying to sex me when we come home. Now Gandhi was trying to give me $5 to stop the tech revolution that was inevitably gonna happen in his country. What a broke boy. Maybe he should have taken some time to indulge in the literature of our great nation.
If I be she that may you do gladness, for every war ye shall recover a bliss, and him in arms took, and gan him kiss.
Splendid. I was hit with another lawsuit, but this time I was easily able to buy my way out of it. And alas, time passes, and with time, the Renaissance era comes. Peter loves my snack shack idea so much, he wants to base his whole civilization off of it. I had a strong grip on the world, but I couldn't allow my foes the opportunity to catch up. so I had to update my fiscal policies.
Disclaimer.
This is a real Civ 6 policy, free for any leader to use. I'm just a player playing the game. Don't get mad. This isn't racist. This is just business. So, I ate up the triangle trade, and I increased my profits. With all these free laborers from the Middle East and Russia, I was a rich woman. Farms were being built by the dozens, and the Indians were adopting my MLM tech support scheme with open arms. That is until I found out the Chinese had gotten there first. They were already well on their way in turning Delhi into the tech support capital of the world. And that's when I knew I had to shift my business plan. I mean, hey, tech is old news. We need something new for the modern world. And it was right as we were negotiating with the citizens of Delhi that it hit us. At the top of Mount Everest, a crypto pyramid scheme. That is how we would dominate the world. And we sold NFT project after NFT project. Jaipur bought little small bears. Chennai wanted some thin guys in underwear. Don't ask me why, they like strange things in Chennai. But regardless of the project, we'd always pull the rug out from underneath. But this made Gandhi an angry guy. He liked praying, meditating, and rolling around in the grass more than investing in NFTs. When I asked to buy out the rest of his stupid nation, gave me some stupid number. I told him play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And that's how the deal went. Rule number 8. I didn't really get this one, but I decided to complain to the Portuguese about how hard my job being a crypto lord is. He didn't really show me enough attention. So I decided to show up to his doorstep with weapons. I parked my boats on his cribs, and I brought a couple cannonballs as housewarming presents. His people were tweaking out and screaming gibberish in their fake language. So I decided to invest all their portfolios into my crypto projects. I minted their deaths onto the blockchain and airdropped them into their families' crypto wallets. Then I brought the corpses to their doors and let them claim the digital deaths into physical ones. My best business plan yet.
Ho ho ho. You may not recognize my victory, but it lives forever on the blockchain.
Rule number 9. Her enemies are your enemies. And for me to be properly loved, I was gonna need to find some new enemies, because I had vanquished most of my old ones. So I sailed to the new world in search of the most racist country on earth, America. But all I found was more Indians. Hey, have you guys heard of crypto? I immediately started trying to sell them crypto. I was interrupted by the Australians lecturing me about why war is wrong, and then Mansa Musa racially profiled my heart and begged God to strike me down. A casual Tuesday afternoon. I got sued again for exploiting India financially. The old India, not the new one. But I beat the case. Because while the Jews in Jerusalem were inventing banking, one of them got a splinter in their foot and labeled it as part of the original cross of Jesus Christ. And then I built the Forbidden City, where all the former execs of my Balenciaga stores can go diddle children. The Chinese didn't like that, but then I built the Colosseum for them to come fight me about it. I also read the fine print and saw that it said that Rome should fall. But I decided to give him one more chance because rule number 10, sex is okay. And all this crypto punning makes me really horny. I just needed him to beg me for it. He wasn't down, so I decided to fuck him anyways. In fact, I was so horny that I decided to fuck China at the same time. Ho ho ho, Rome was easy. I penetrated him with no lube, and like a great artist, that inspired me to build David. I was continuing my Tour del Pain when I learned about taxes. Thanks, Jews.
Meanwhile,
China was playing hard to get. I was buying them drinks and paying their rent. They just kept putting up more walls. So I asked the Jews for advice. They said I'd slide in smoother if I was circumcised. So I circumcised the globe. They were right, but it just didn't feel the same. I decided to take one more Roman city. But then I remembered Trajan fed me cheese and treated me like an equal back in the day. And rule number 11 says, if you meet a free-thinking, bookish one, then your love must manifest in equality. And I felt like Trajan's did. He also sent me this picture. So I cut him a deal and he joined my corporation as an executive under the clause that he would love me forever. You know me, I was doing my hot girl shit, building Petras and becoming friends with Australia's friends, buying them a bunch of cool shit, seizing their assets, blackmailing them into ruining Australia's life, and gaslighting them into thinking Australia's the problem. You know, the usual. And then my negotiations began. We were discussing which hole I would put it in first. I decided on Sydney. Meanwhile, across the pond, I met the Brazilians. I really liked their beards. The Chinese were still a problem, but I was doing my best to fix them. They wouldn't stop complaining about the bullets flying into their capital, but I told them that it's part of life, and if they can't dodge them, it's just a skill issue, bro. They finally smartened up and realized they stood no chance against a strong woman, and surrendered. After seizing all of China's assets, I had a lot of money to start some new businesses. I got really into manifesting after conquering the whole Eastern world, so I prayed for a floating steel war machine, and the gods gave me an ironclad. I was so excited about the ironclad that I accidentally captured Mexico City, and I had so much fun while doing it that it inspired me to adopt a new policy. I needed a large dominant female to enforce it though. Lizzo. Hey guys, Queen Nzinga here. I just realized I was wasting so much time engaging in brutally long wars on my home continent, and my life changed when I learned I can absolutely steamroll weaker and less advanced cultures across the ocean. War was fun again. That old spark those pesky Chinese dimmed was returning back into my eyes. And the best part is their language is all click-clacks. I don't understand it at all, so I'm free to interpret it as cheering in my name. Why, thank you very much. They absolutely love me here. Wow, check this out. Insta-kill! Things were going swimmingly. Back home, I formed my first official harem. I started the Kool-Aid Co., and then decided between women's rights and a nuclear program. I decided on women's rights and formed the world's first democracy. And from that, I started feminism, and even wrote a bestseller about it.
It is necessary to note, men must be either enticed or snuffed out. For light offences they avenge, grievous ones they cannot. Therefore the offence done to a man must be such as to remove any fear of revenge.
Then I wanted to act on the book, and decided to finish off Gandhi. He was pissing me off. But in a democracy, I realized my people had the power, and they didn't want me to go to war. They wanted peace and ski resorts, so I learned about totalitarianism and swiftly adopted fascism in order to begin fixing the world by getting rid of the last of the Indians. Hey Gandhi, want to surrender? No, he said, demanding $1.3 billion in reparations. What about now, Gandhi? Mumbai is your last city. He said okay, but he wanted David. You can never have David. So I deleted him off the face of the earth. He started talking about some kinky shit, so I praised Jesus, and he told me to sell his bones as an artifact. Great success! Then I remembered I was still in a war with Australia. I decided to make a reality TV show out of it. And I said, where on earth is Perth? The Australians were so mad, they said they can't bear it. So tell me, what rhymes with hard-working men? John Curtin's dead! I was a fascist dictatorship, so this show was forcibly broadcasted onto everyone's television across my entire empire, and everyone who didn't want to live in prison gave it a 5-star review. It was labeled the most successful show of all time. I then heard of rumors of a lost civilization living in Boston, the Americans, so I liberated them. Then they asked for some bullshit called freedom. I called him a little bitch, and he said this. So I introduced my 9mm to his mouth and pulled the trigger. Abe pissed me off so much that I decided I hated all beards. I came to the Brazilian guy and told him to shave his beard. He said no, so I invaded his country. He had no military, Just a lot of underdressed laborers throwing soccer balls at my tanks and infantry. I told him if they wanted to play ball, I'd set them up in the fields with Russia. Working for free because Russia, I enslaved the Russians. And now they're working in the whatever. Brazil fell. Okay, rule number 12. This is the last rule and could be the most important. I created this big, massive family out of the survivors of my global domination campaign. Everything was set for me to marry the only other African leader, Mansa Musa. We would live together happily ever after. All he had to do was love my family and buy them some gifts. He refused, so I decided to sue him for war crimes against the city-state. I also started a pension fund in the name of the deceased Aztec civilization and convinced everyone to donate. This newfound capital funded my liberation efforts in Mansa's territory. My global domination wasn't just physical, it was mental too. The stars of my hit comedy, Genocide in Australia, the Australians, were praising me for my assault on Mali. And as the last of my tanks rode through Mansa's defenseless cities, I reflected on the love I created, the family I built, through just being me. I stared deeply into Mansa's eyes, and I knew he felt the warmth coming from me. I reached for him and uttered the most important words a human wants to hear.
Legalize nuclear bombs.